Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll talk about the Royals and their non-existent offense. We'll be talking about the playoff basketball in the NBA and hockey in the NHL. But we'll lead today's show with the NFL, and the NFL draft is coming up this weekend, Mike. This can be an exciting time. Everybody wants to see, who their team is going to be drafting, or at least see like what players are going where, especially early in the rounds. Mike, how do you tend to watch the draft? Do you watch the draft? And then how do you anticipate things, like actually getting to like sit there and take in the draft, or do
I,
you just ignore it, find out what happened
I
later?
I sometimes watch it. It varies. So I usually like on the first round night, I'll turn it on because I have ESPN Plus, which will show at least the ABC sports version. I think there's usually an ABC and an ESPN broadcast of the draft.
Yeah.
Plus there's the NFL Network, I think, has a draft show. So I'll turn it on at some point during the first round if I remember to. And I'll try to at least watch the Chiefs pick if I can, if I don't fall asleep.
Right.
But I tend to sometimes pay attention. I pay attention usually on my phone uh, to see who the Chiefs are drafting if they're coming up or something like
Yeah.
that. Second in the second day and third day. I'm actually kind of the most interested in the third day because that's when most of the picks get picked, and and it goes faster, and you can see
Right.
who the Chiefs are using to round out their roster, and I like kind of like that. The second and third day are actually better than the first day for sure. Um,
The first day is pretty slow. It's in like
yeah, they
at
get
least 5 minutes between picks, and then
15. It starts at 15 minutes
15.
per
Oh
pick.
yeah.
Or maybe
Oh
it's 10
geez.
now. It used to be 15 in the first
Yeah.
round. I don't know if it's down or not, but um, it seems like there's no drama this year for who's the first pick is going to be. It's going to be Cam Ward for the Titans, I guess. I guess they've um, soured on Mr. Mayo. Will uh,
Oh, Hunter. Oh, yes, yes. Levis.
Will Levis, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Man. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that seems to be I think it's we saw on FanDuel before we started tonight. It was minus 20,000. That was
Yeah.
so it's a 200 to 1 odds that you can bet $200. You bet $200, you can win $1. Um,
Yes.
I don't see how anyone would that's
It's what, like 0.5% interest, something like that.
yeah, and it's risking it all if it doesn't happen. So
Right.
it's either you have $0 or you have $201 coming out of it.
When you
So
started with $200, like maybe a few
yeah,
hours ago, right?
yeah.
Yes.
So if you have $200 now, and you could say, well, do you want 200? Do you want a 99% chance of having $201, or do you want a one? Well, I guess it's not 1%. It's like 99.5% chance of having
Right.
$200, or a point
But
five
there
percent
is
having zero
still the
dollars.
0.5% chance.
And then, what's the value of $201 that $200 isn't? So
Right. Seems
it's
like a
one.
dumb bet, Mike.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. That would be funny if you bet. Could you bet $10 on it and win um 2 cents or whatever it would be? What
Yeah.
um
Right.
so if you bet $200, you'd win $1. So if you bet $100, you'd win 50 cents. So if you bet $10, you'd win 5 cents. You'd win a nickel.
A shiny, maybe not even a shiny nickel, just
Yeah, the
a
dull,
dull.
uh, a well-rounded and
Yes.
smooth nickel that in 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 fine to uh, good condition.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Common. A
common.
common nickel.
Yeah.
Not even like a buffalo nickel or.
No, you wouldn't get the one. Those nickels are worth more than a nickel. It'd be
Right.
the, yeah, it would be a well circulated 1998 D Jefferson nickel, something like that.
Yes.
Before even like the interesting reverses on the Jefferson nickel, like the like Lewis and Clark Trail ones or the whatever the other nickel Jefferson nickels have been. Um,
Yeah. I'm not sure I've even looked at a nickel recently to know that they even had alternate reverses.
yeah, I don't know what they have right now. Let's see what the 2025 nickel.
We're gonna have to add a nickel facts hashtag to this.
It looks like they're just the regular Monticello back,
Uh,
but it does have the new uh, front that Jefferson kind of facing the viewer rather than the profile of the classic Jefferson
mm,
nickel. So it's got the new front. I'm thinking of I was thinking classic profile Jefferson nickel. But yeah,
there, you're rushing out to the sports book to make your $10 bet on Cam Ward going number one, right?
yes, no.
Because you need to see what nickel you'll get
Hmm. What nickel? Yes, what
should
nickel?
you win,
Yes.
or you'll get nothing in return if someone else is drafted first. So did
Yes.
you also notice that maybe something like the first five picks are the books are relatively confident in with all negative odds for the top five? Is that surprising to you, or do you think there will be more mobility when it comes to draft day
Um,
or unexpected moves? And by the way, the Royals just walk-off single by Freddie Fermin to
ooh, pinch
win
runner.
win an 11.
Oh, the Royals have won. Okay, so now they are 10 and 14. We'll talk about the Royals a little bit later. What was the question that you had for the draft again?
The top five
Hmm.
draft picks seem to be uh, the sports books are relatively confident that the five picks will be
Hmm.
who the five picks are, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at
Like
least
they
yeah.
doesn't see they don't expect there to be movement within the top five apparently as to who what the draft order is for one through five. Do
Pretty
you
much.
think they will follow that trend, or do you think there will be some surprise in the top five spots in the draft?
Well, if there's a surprise, it might be number five because the fifth uh, overall pick, the favorite for number five is Ashton Jeanty, the running back, Boise State, right? Um,
Yeah,
he's also the favorite to be the number six pick, so uh, slightly lower odds at number six than number five. But so he's going that they don't exactly know.
running backs have been a little all over the place the last several years too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Who's picking at number five? It's the
That is,
Jacksonville. Does Jacksonville really need a running back? Isn't ETN kind of decent enough for
yeah,
them?
that's so, yeah. Yeah,
So
Jacksonville's five. So you think maybe he'll fall to sixth for the Raiders then?
the Bears don't really have a great running back right now because once they let Jacobs go, they don't have.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so maybe number six. That would be my pick, I guess, of those top five because the other ones, I think it's going to be Hunter number two and Abdul Carter, the end from defensive end from Penn State number three, and then unless there's a trade and
Yes.
somebody wants somebody in particular, I guess Shadur Sanders or something like that. Somebody wants him. I don't think.
Right.
I think Sanders is also very likely to drop in the round. I don't know if Jackson Dart is supposed to be uh, is thought to be a first round draft pick or not. Jackson Dart is minus 750 to be a first round draft pick.
So they
So,
have them at minus 140 to be over 25 and a half.
hmm,
So late first round pick is what they're.
yeah. What do they have for Shador Saunders?
They don't have that type of bet on Sanders.
Oh, yeah. So they have Pittsburgh Steelers are the favorite to draft Shador Sanders. New York Giants second favorite, and the Giants are
They pick very early in the draft.
pick
They're
third, don't they? So
third.
it's
Yeah.
it's possible they might trade back
Yes. Because
instead
I
of
guess they did look at Sanders in the
Mhm.
last week or so.
Yeah. Yeah, Sanders is Jackson Dart is plus 500 to be a top 10 pick. Shador Sanders is plus 210 to be a top 10 pick.
So yeah, so it just basically comes down to if some team really wants one of them, then they're likely to trade up to ensure that they get them and that no one else does. You think there will be a lot of trades in the first round?
They usually are, but that's usually when there are lots of there are quarterbacks that people want usually to trade. And that but in the later first round, there are trades for just people that are different
Particular positions or
positions.
particular
Yeah. Oh,
individual
there's the last wide
players.
receiver in this, like the third, three wide receivers are seen as first round caliber, and there's still one of them left. Maybe you trade
Right. Or
get
or
him.
after the first one goes, somebody's going to try to trade up to make sure they get one of the other two, right?
Yeah, yeah. So something
But
like that, maybe.
but
But
it may not, you don't know where they're going to go until that first one gets taken off the board, and then it's the free for all starts for
yeah,
those.
there's a run
Yeah.
on positions and stuff like that. That happens a lot. So
Yeah.
I'd say there's at least five trades in the first round. I don't know how many there usually are, but
Seems about that seems about right. Yeah,
um,
especially late in the draft, there seems to be more. There's usually like one or two relatively high in the top 10, and then there's, you know, two to four others that happen elsewhere, right?
yeah. Okay, I see that the league has averaged 5.6 uh, trades involving first round picks during the draft year since 2020. So,
So like roughly one out of every five
mhm,
draft slots, there's a trade somewhere in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
First round trades rarely mean moving that far up or that far down. So usually it's just a couple was it a couple of 20 to 20 to 18, and then
Well, a lot of times it's almost a spiteful move, right? To jump
It's-
over someone that is either in your division or
yeah,
someone that you consider to be a rival or someone that you consider is likely to take the pick that you want.
yeah. Well, the Chiefs have, I mean, they the most notably traded up in the first round in 2017 to get Mahomes. I think they were 27th, and they jumped all the way to number 10 to get
And the trade with,
Buffalo.
and then last year they moved up to get Xavier
They're
Worthy.
worthy with Buffalo. They've also traded up to get Trent McDuffie because Buffalo was going to draft McDuffie if
Right.
so there's a lot of Buffalo um, sort of adjacency, if that's a word. Adjacentness, what would you say?
Yeah, somewhere that sounds right.
Adjacency,
Yeah.
adjacentness.
Their number comes up. The Chiefs are likely to be looking to jump over them or trade with them directly, I guess, right?
Adjacency is a word. It's meaning the quality or state of being adjacent.
It does sound better,
Something that is yeah, adjacency.
adjacency.
Vacant, vacancy, adjacent, adjacency. Yeah. It reminds me of The Simpsons when They awarded the first annual Montgomery Burns Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence, and they had Joe Frazier as the presenter, and he read Webster's dictionary defines excellence as the state or quality of being excellent. And the winner is Homer Simpson. The first, yeah. But anyway, so adjacency. Uh, well, the Bills adjacency that goes with the Chiefs. We'll see if there are any Bills Chiefs draft trades or something related. 30, and the Chiefs are 31, so they could,
Right.
leapfrog or something like that. We'll see.
Do you think they'll trade with Buffalo directly again, or do you think that's
Go
now
move up one. They would only do that if they felt like some other team was trying to trade and get uh, that spot.
whoever that is that they
Yeah,
want, I suppose, right?
yeah, yeah. Like if the left
Uh,
tackle or something or whatever. Well, I think that the odds are the Chiefs are going to draft an offensive lineman. I don't
mm,
know about that because they when they got Jalen Moore, the left tackle from San Francisco, who was Trent Williams' backup. I think
mm.
they think he's going to be pretty good, and they've already moved Kingsley Suamataia. It sounds like to guard, he and Caliendo are going to compete for the left guard position. They announced a couple of days ago. So, and then I guess that means Wani Morris is the swing tackle, maybe,
I guess so.
and um, the Chiefs' uh, right tackle, Jawan Taylor, is going to, I guess, be the right tackle again. I don't know. Um,
Remain at the position he's already playing.
yeah,
Yes.
that's my guess. I don't know, but maybe the Chiefs will try to. Um,
So they don't go lineman. Where do you think they'll go?
I think they'd go defense. I think they'd go defensive lineman, is my prediction. They need somebody in the interior besides Chris Jones, I think, especially with Turk Wharton leaving, and or they could always use another defensive end.
And they
Um,
like to cycle their defensive linemen anyway, so that nobody gets like super worn
yeah,
out.
Karlaftis
Um,
is good. Anudike Uzama maybe is showing some signs of improvement, but still hasn't been the dominant force that I'm sure that they want.
right.
So it's hard to get a really good defensive end or defensive lineman at the end of the first round, but the Chiefs have done it. They got Chris Jones in the second round, so
Yeah.
um, they've done it before. But usually the defensive ends are really good are really highly picked. Karlaftis was like in the 20s or something. But that was the same year as McDuffie. I think that when the Chiefs got Karlaftis, but usually like it's you know the high picks. So like the Abdul Carter, like the can't miss defensive end is always going to go really high. Miles
Hmm.
Miles Garrett that year was number one in the it probably was the safest and best pick that the Browns could have made that year, not knowing what Mahomes was going to be, but maybe they should have drafted the quarterback number one since they didn't have a quarterback at that point. But they did draft the quarterback number one the year after that, but that was Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield, of course, is no longer there. And the Browns are still searching for a quarterback now that they had the trade of Deshaun Watson, which has not worked out. And I don't think anybody's sad about that. That's not a Browns fan that it has not worked out.
Well, especially having seen Baker Mayfield be what now two-time playoffs
Yeah,
appearances in a different with a different team after he was let go.
yeah, and it's also good, and nobody wanted Watson to succeed because of his off the field indiscretions. But
But it seems like Cleveland, I think, is picking number two.
Hmm.
They're likely to take the two-way player, Travis Henry,
Travis Hunter.
Hunter.
Travis Henry, remember, was a running back for the Bills, I think. He was a
Yeah,
University of Tennessee product. I remember that
yes.
played for the Bills and maybe some other teams.
But
He was about our age.
but
Travis Hunter.
Hunter though,
Bills, Titans, and Broncos.
do you think you think Cleveland will actually use him on both sides of the ball, or do you think they'll try to like pin him to one side and keep him there?
I would guess.
Because that has become an incredibly rare player type in today's NFL. Everybody seems to be very specialized into one position
Hmm.
on one side, plus maybe special teams, but
Yeah, he won the
usually
Defensive
not one
Player
side.
of the Year and the Blitnikoff Award for the most outstanding receiver as well in the same season. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know what they'll play him at. I would guess receiver for primarily, but
yeah,
maybe I don't know because well, like Dion was the last player, you kind of ironically, the last player to be seen as a, but he was
true two way.
primarily as a defensive player.
Right.
I
And he
guess
played some snaps on
Charles
offense.
Woodson maybe is similar, but in the NFL, Woodson I don't think ever played wide receiver. He was a punt returner and defensive back. Um,
Yeah,
he played a little bit more offense in college, but he was primarily defense. Sanders, same thing, punt returner, primarily defense, but he did play a little wide receiver um, once in a while for the Cowboys. I remember, maybe
yeah.
for the Falcons too, but. Um, Henry, yeah, I mean Hunter. You got me saying Travis Henry. Travis Hunter. Um, yeah, I would say I think of him more as a receiver than a defensive back, but maybe I should fit the other way. It's um, hard to say. Um,
It seems like value wise, you're getting essentially two players if you intend to use
mhm.
them as two ways. So you'd think that he wouldn't go that high in the draft if they had no intention of using him for possibly both sides of the ball. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm looking up now to see if Hunter wants to play both ways.
Yes, he's made it clear that he wants to play both sides.
Uh, so
His
when you
intention is to play both, but he doesn't necessarily get a
to pick,
say in it when it
yeah, does the Giants?
comes down to it.
Oh, Champ Bailey wants him to play both offense and defense too. Champ Bailey was another one of those players who was a two-way player in college. Um, he played defense almost always, uh, but it's still he was more. Champ Bailey even was more of a defensive player than an offensive player than, but he played more offense than Woodson did. I remember, but um, Travis Hunter. Uh, is more. I don't know. He's more of an Otani, uh, maybe. So I could see him do a little bit of both, but and you really need to focus on one or the other, though. I think in the NFL, probably maybe after a year or two, you can kind of, since I think do both. Um,
Once you've got one of them like
once you got one of them like,
really locked down and
yeah, because like you need
yeah.
because it takes a while to learn like the routes trees and like all that stuff and the playbook and things like that. Um,
Or I mean they could just use them in sort of like specific roles where you'd only go in and run one of two routes or something like that, right? If they design plays specifically for him.
yeah.
If he's primarily a defensive player and then an occasional offensive player, you can sort of like maybe work him
Hmm.
in specific scenarios
Yeah.
and get a little more out of him, I guess, right? That'd be one way to go about it anyway.
Yeah, it's I don't know what they're gonna uh do. So um he's gonna play. It looks like Cleveland is the favorite to draft him. So they need and Cleveland needs help on offense and probably defense too. So yeah, I don't yeah, it's hard to say what's gonna happen. That'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Uh his college teammate in Colorado, Shedeur Sanders. Sanders and Hunter both of the number had their numbers retired at the University of Colorado, which kind of raised eyebrows, especially I think with Shedeur Sanders, because at least Travis Hunter won a Heisman Trophy and
Yeah.
two-way player, where Sanders was just a a very good quarterback, but Colorado's had its share of very good quarterbacks. I don't think Cordell Stewart's number is retired in
Right.
Colorado or some
Yeah, they
other.
didn't. I don't think they retired anyone from their national championship season,
Yeah.
which is a little surprising.
Yeah, well, you need more numbers for college because you have like 85 players most of the time. So, um, you need most of the numbers between, I guess you have 0, 00 to 99, so you have 101 uh
Yeah,
choice possibilities.
and there are scenarios where I think they have players that wear the same jersey number, but they have to like they can flip it to a different number because I was watching one college game this year where they kept having to say that some particular number was reporting, but it was wearing a different number than what is because the other guy
Was in or something. Yeah.
was already on the field, something like that.
Yeah, I guess there are certain numbers you have to wear for pass catching eligibility and things like that. So
Yeah.
you need a number in the zeros through the 40s or the 80s for some reason. In
I think that's changed actually recently. They loosened the restrictions on the number assignments in the last couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. So for the NFL, you can wear the low number on
Well, that
defense.
was just in the NFL, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
You can wear a low number on defense in the NFL but I think on offense, you still have to be in those zones to be eligible. Um, and
Hmm.
I think an offensive lineman can't be a number 7 or something like that because they have to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Right.
or 90s.
Yeah. Or 90s. Yeah.
Although you don't see any offensive linemen ever in the 90s. It's always defensive linemen, I think, in the 90s.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Um, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the draft. Who do you think the Chiefs are gonna pick? Do you think they're gonna go with an offensive tackle, or do you think they're gonna go another way? Maybe running back if one of them falls.
I mean, they've done that
Depending.
late in the first round before. They've done wide receivers late in the first round. They've done defensive players. They've done pretty much everything at the end of the first round.
Yeah. I think we could
So
safely consider no quarterback in the first round.
would
And
not would be very surprising if they took a quarterback. Very
yeah,
surprising.
very surprised, especially now that because it's not like the Chiefs even need a backup because they have um, Gardner Minshew now and Bailey Zappi as potential backups who have both recently started NFL games and are, I think, both younger than 30. I think maybe Minshew's approaching 30, um,
Yeah.
but both on the younger side of their careers. So I think um, yeah, I think go anyway. I doubt usually linebacker is not a first round pick unless it's an edge kind of linebacker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say likely. It seems like probably not a wide receiver to me, just because they've been at the wide receiver well a lot. But maybe if they find somebody they really like, they'll draft him because you don't know what maybe Rashee Rice's status is, um, either through injury or through um,
Whatever suspension may be coming down.
and they do have Hollywood Brown coming back.
Yeah.
And they have Xavier Worthy, who it seems like whatever off-field incident was kind of started by his ex-girlfriend or current girl, whatever, happened. It seemed like it was her issue rather than his, even though he was arrested. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
It's like there's like just an acrimonious potential breakup that happened, and um,
yeah, because he was released from custody like I think immediately
almost
after.
immediately. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
and charges have been dropped and stuff. So,
right.
so that just seems. But yeah, I
But
don't
yeah, they must have gotten enough information that
know. Mhm.
to be able to to drop charges that quickly. It seemed it
Oh
must have
yeah.
been somewhat obvious, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to watch. I think the Chiefs have four draft picks in the top four rounds, and then like three seventh round picks. I don't think they have a fifth or sixth round pick this year. I think it's going to be all at the beginning, all at the up front, and then at the end. Um,
So
so
like two picks on the first day. Oh, they just did the first round is all the first day now, isn't it?
yeah,
No, first two rounds. No.
they have like two third round picks. I think they have a second, first and a second, and then I guess we can look it up.
But it's round one only on day one, and then
Yeah,
two and three on day two.
I think they have 3 day two picks. Um,
Okay. And then day four is like rounds four through seven. Isn't that how it is now?
yes. Okay, so the Chiefs have the 31st pick, the 63rd pick. So those are their first two rounds. And then round three, they have 66 and 95. And then they have round four, number 133, and then three in round seven. One at the beginning, kind of, and then two at the end, including
Okay.
another Mr. Irrelevant pick. We've talked a little bit before whether it's going to be another Brock Purdy type player or a Ryan Suckup, two of the more successful Mr.'s Irrelevant. Messers
There is
Irrelevant.
a betting line on the position that is drafted as Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, really?
So what would you take of this? Defensive lineman or edge rusher plus 320, offensive lineman plus 450, wide receiver plus 500, corner plus 600, QB plus 700. Probably wouldn't do that since we know it's the Chiefs as of now.
Yeah, probably not. But
Running back at plus 850. Keep going.
that's not
So
bad.
then, not find anything interesting.
Tight.
Tight end at plus 1200.
Uh,
Linebacker or safety plus 1,000.
I think linebacker safety is a pretty good bet, and I think because they like to pick late corners too. So like late safeties, late corners, um, late defensive backs, late running. Pacheco's a seventh rounder, running back. So I would say running back or defensive back of some type would be
Yeah.
the favorite to me. I don't think they're in the market for a punter with Ariza. I think they're going to keep him. They don't need a
Mhm.
kicker I think they'll keep Butker. So the only reason you would draft those players, kicker or punters, if you thought they could give your starter a run for their money, and I don't think they really want to do that this year. They had a punting competition last year. Um, what was his name? Refco. He ended up punting for another team. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe it was the Titans punter.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Ryan. No, it's Stonehouse. Not him. Um, he was from BYU. Ryan Rico. Ryan Rico.
Hmm.
Bengals punter.
Hmm.
Went to the Bengals. He was the Chiefs off-season undrafted free agent. Uh, competed against Ariza for a bit. Was released before training camp and then um, signed with the Bengals.
Wouldn't think that they'd draft somebody to do that this year.
No, probably not. Um,
And they have actually had okay success finding players in the undrafted pool even
Mhm.
the last several years, though. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're probably not feeling forced to pick any particular player or any particular position even in the draft because they know they can find talent elsewhere, afterwards even as
yeah.
well.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs do try to get an offensive playmaker of some kind, but maybe more, I would say more likely a running back because I don't think they have. Um, because they signed Kareem Hunt again. They signed
Hmm.
Elijah Mitchell. They also have Rasheed Rice, not Rasheed Rice, Isaiah Pacheco as the running back. None of those guys, especially really is a top level back. Like it seems like I think maybe teams are going to go back to the idea they need a really good running back because Saquon did so well last year, and the Eagles had such a strong offense with Barkley, and then the Ravens with Derrick Henry, and you know a lot of teams. The running back was kind of the year of the running back. They were sort of revival of the number one running back last year for a lot of teams, and Chiefs have been the committee running back for very long for you know since Jamal Charles left, basically. I think
Yeah,
Hunt
yeah,
for that 1 year, Hunt for that 1 year, uh, and then I guess year in most of the games. Then he went before he was let go from the Chiefs, so year and a half or so. But they haven't had the bell cow, as they call him.
right. The Christian Okoye type,
Yeah,
Barry Word,
very word. Yeah, Priest
the
Holmes.
yes,
Yeah, somebody like that.
yeah,
Marcus Allen. Even Marcus
yes,
Allen was sort of a commit in Larry John, maybe Larry Johnson for a little while once uh, Holmes was injured and
yeah,
retired. Yeah,
the bell cow type running
Belt.
back.
Yes. Um, well,
So we'll be doing our mock drafts again. We'll Next week we'll be able to compare ourselves to what actually happened. Do you think we'll be in the same categories with the professional mock drafters, Mike?
will we be in the same categories?
Yeah, like will you think we'll be like similar number of correct
Oh,
picks
someone on a
across the
correct pick.
draft?
I think at the beginning, yeah, because that seems like there's we'll probably get those right because that seems to be a consensus who's going to go top four, top five ish.
Yeah.
Once you get farther down, it gets much more chaotic, and there are trades, and
Yeah,
so like
once the first trade happens, and it
then all the things shift red. Yeah, then it's just kind of random what you pick. And you can kind of know, like, oh, you think the Chiefs are going to pick this position or something like that, but sometimes it's not the player that's available that they want. So um,
right,
I think our number of correct picks will be somewhat similar. I guess because we know we can base our top picks off of what the draft consensus is, and we can use
right,
that going forward. So our picks are going to be not based on our own scouting, of course. They'll just be based on what
right.
other people will pick, and maybe
Some
just
kind of
maybe a
consensus
little bit
of
of
other scouts.
thinking, oh, they need, the Chiefs need this type of player or whatever, or the other teams need this type of player. But it could be, be like we know this team won't draft the Bills aren't going to draft a quarterback in the first round, so we can eliminate that, and
Right.
same things like that. So
But if they do, then everybody's draft is going to be messed up.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody's analyst picks will be all wrong
yeah, yeah,
because no one will see that.
yeah. Well, yeah. So we'll see what happens with the draft this week, and we'll revisit it next week, and we can review our picks and talk about what we think of the Chiefs picks in particular. Um, so the draft is coming up. We also right now are in the midst of the first round of the NHL and the NBA playoffs. Um, one of the teams that I've been following closely, the Washington Capitals won their first game against the Montreal Canadiens last night. with a 3-2 victory in overtime with 2 goals scored by Alex Ovechkin, the record holder. And
but including
the game winner, the
you
power
know
play,
in overtime, which is
overtime
probably
game
like
winning power play
the dream scenario,
goal.
right?
Yeah,
For any player, let alone somebody of that caliber.
yeah. So that's going on. We'll see what happens. Maybe once we get to the final fours of the playoffs, we can put bets down who we think is going to win. If you want, we want to wait because since we already missed the window for this, so maybe we'll do the final four. Um,
Yeah,
uh, if I guess if the broadcast times it out right, anyway.
right.
Same thing for the NBA. Uh, Cleveland is number one seed in the East is up 2-0. The Western number one seed Oklahoma City is also up 2-0 in their series. Um, I think I picked Boston as my favorite to win the NBA championship, and I also picked Washington. I think the Capitals to win the NHL, but those maybe my um somewhat those are my picks, I guess.
Your leanings, but not odds
Yeah,
bets that we didn't
we didn't
consult
do
in.
those. Yeah, we didn't consult the
Yeah.
odds. So we have the playoffs going on. Are you more likely to watch the NHL playoffs or the NBA playoffs? If you were to turn a game on, would it be hockey or would it be basketball for you, Dr. Skev?
His, for me, historically, it's been basketball, but in the last few years, I've watched a little bit less basketball than I had in the past. And I think it, this came up yesterday. I actually had the option to watch NBA or NHL, and I turned to the NHL and watched quite a bit of one of the games yesterday. The St. Louis
Okay,
Blues were playing yesterday, so I ended up watching some of that. I think
nice.
and ESPN has a lot of the games on too, so like you can actually watch a lot of the NHL playoffs, which is a nice change from like several years ago. Like it was all on like the Outdoor Life Network or something like that, right? Where it's like wasn't as accessible as it is.
Versus, I think they changed it to, but yeah, it was an NBC
At one time, it was
outdoor
Outdoor
life.
Life, was
Yeah, that
which
was
was just a bizarre year, though, right?
yeah. Well, that was what they called. I think the Tour de France was an outdoor life and stuff like that, and I think it became NBC Sports.
Mm,
Was Versus for a while. I remember that.
yeah,
Um, and then I think it's again just NBC Sports Channel or something now. But
but it wasn't available on like every cable
oh, yeah,
package and stuff like that. It was
yeah,
just made it difficult
yeah,
to be watched, especially when it's playoff hockey and when you're used to be able to watch it on network TV, and then it's all of a sudden it's relegated to some multiple tier
yeah.
down
Hockey lost popularity for a
cable.
while. Partially, I think it was with
Yeah,
the multiple lockouts and just
yeah.
what it seemed to take a back seat for a little while. Now it seems like it's become maybe a little more popular again. I don't know if that's true across the country or just maybe just among us, but it's up there, I guess, with the I don't know if it's up there with the NBA in terms of ratings or not, but
Probably not,
at
but
least in Canada, sure, certainly it is.
absolutely.
And maybe northern North America. It probably depends on the location. Well, there are a lot of southern teams now, so it
Yeah,
depend on um,
and that have had a lot of success too, right? With
yeah,
like Vegas has even uh, done quite well in their short franchise history.
yeah.
So
So okay, NBA television. Uh, let's see.
I think the NBA games are like TNT, TBS still.
Yeah, uh, basketball is higher than the NHL playoffs. It looks like it's about 3 times as high, at least the ratings.
Yeah,
NBA playoffs 2023 average about 5.1 million viewers, NHL about 1.2 million. But
I
but
think that was still on like a not on the like a flagship cable network
Mhm.
at that point. 2023.
Yeah,
Because I think the ESPN deal just started. maybe last year even.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see what the ratings are
Yeah,
like this year.
I see an article, NHL viewership climbs while NBA sees decline, uh in the in a headline from 2024.
Yeah,
Um yeah, anyway. Um so we have and I think a lot of the problems as well, the ratings, is because there are blackouts in local areas, especially if you get like packages like ESPN Plus or whatever the NHL TV or whatever NBA TV or whatever you can get to watch the games because I can't watch. I think I'm blacked out for both Capitals games and Penguins games living where I am. Uh,
yeah,
so it sucks, like, if you want to watch one of those two teams, because we're not like, it's not like I would be going to the game instead of watching them on, because like the games pretty much sell out.
yeah,
And if they don't, like, it's not because it's just people in Frostburg, Maryland are, watching it on TV instead of going to the game 2.5 hours away, in
right.
Washington or something like that. So um,
It's still
yeah,
better than the archaic MLB
mhm.
blackout rules.
The MLB, it's similar to the MLB TV kind of thing,
Well,
where
the radius is
huge.
bigger though
Yeah,
for the MLB. I
I can
remember
watch.
okay when I lived in Iowa, the blackout teams were it was any team that they said you could reasonably drive to,
So
and
you would have,
so in
yeah.
Iowa I could not watch. You wanna go through them?
Okay, so let's say I would say Royals,
Yep,
Cardinals,
yep,
Cubs,
yep,
White Sox,
yep,
Brewers,
yep.
Twins.
One more.
One more. Rockies?
Yeah.
Really, the Rockies?
Yeah, it's like a
Think
10-hour drive. They say if you can reasonably drive there, yeah,
it's easier to drive to Cincinnati or Cleveland probably than it is to go to
you would think.
or
But yeah,
Cincinnati.
even the Rockies were blacked out. But that's been a long time. But that was the
That's
rule at
crazy.
the time. I don't think it's changed though for the
Right.
blackout radius. It's an absurdly large radius. It's like it's not just like a 2-hour drive or something. It's like like 10 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, but
I mean, they expect somebody to drive 10 hours to watch a game rather than just watch it on TV. Like, that's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, that is stupid. Fortunately, the NFL doesn't have blackouts usually, at least if the game is somewhat close to selling out. Uh,
Well, most games, at least in the popular markets, are
yeah, unless you're
sellouts, even
a
when the teams are not
Jaguars
very
fan
good.
or something. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens with the playoffs, and we'll see what happens uh, in the draft. So that leaves us primarily with baseball left on the topics of the day for the Winter Power Hour. So the Royals ended up winning a game that they almost cost. They were up 2-0 going into the bottom of the ninth inning, or the top of
Or
the ninth inning.
top, yes,
They
yes.
were down 3-2. They tied the game at 3-3, and they won it in extra innings 4-3. So it's another game where the Royals haven't scored more than 4 runs. How many is that in a row? 18?
I think it's about 18 now. Yeah, somewhere in that. It's yeah Tuesday night for us. So
So the
at this
offense
point, I
been
believe
fairly
it's 18 in a row.
anemic, moribund, uh, uh, toothless, whatever adjective you want to just uh, provide. So do the Royals need somebody like Jac Caglione, uh, Caglione to come up and play in the outfield, or is somebody like Drew Waters, who was 3 for 3, who was just a double short of the cycle tonight? Is he the answer in the outfield now that Melendez has been shipped back to Omaha? Do the Royals have possibility of improving on offense, or are they kind of stuck where they are until maybe they get a big trade or call up somebody like Caglianone?
I don't think they're going to be looking for a trade. They're more likely looking to like liquidate players than they would be trying to like improve it. I think at this point, and I don't know. They just have so many light hitting bats this season. I think no one has more than 2 home runs so far. I think they're on pace to hit something uh like 60 home runs on the whole season,
Yeah. So
which
all
is
combined,
very
they're
good.
what Aaron Judge might hit.
In one, yeah, himself in one season,
Yeah.
yes. They're not hitting home runs at home, they're not hitting home runs on the road. It doesn't seem to make any difference. They've got like 5, 6 players hitting under 200. But yeah, Drew Waters has been great since they called him up, but it doesn't seem to matter for the players around him. Like there's no protection in the lineup right now. So I don't think any pitchers are afraid to throw to any of the hitters all right now, which is a really unfortunate thing. That's what usually helps the team is if you can, force pitchers to pitch to somebody that's not quite as good as the next hitter, or create a scenario where your really good hitters like have to be pitched to, and then they can really cause some damage. And they're just not doing any of that right now. They're not stringing hits together, not getting extra base hits, and not scoring any runs. So it's gonna be a
Yeah.
tough season if they don't get things together.
They have won 2 in a row after losing
Six straight.
six straight. Uh, so yeah, the last time they scored more than 4 runs was an 11-1 victory over the Brewers on in March.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say it's either like April 1st or in March.
in March, yeah. Yeah,
Yikes.
I think that's the only game they've scored more than 4 runs.
Wow. So they're this is like 24 games into the season, is that right? 25 games in?
Yeah, 24 to 10 14 now. So four
Yeah.
and a half games out of first. Cleveland has won 5 in a row. They're 14-9. Detroit is 14-10. So 4.5 games out.
One of your favorite scenarios came up today, though, Mike, was another pickoff slash hot stealing on the base paths
A
in an unnecessary situation.
a toot plan, the thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop, as the acronym goes. But it was fortunately the Royals had a toot plan by Michael Garcia in the top. It was in the bottom of the ninth inning where they could have taken the lead in this one in regulation.
Hmm.
But Garcia got thrown out on the bases, picked off second or caught stealing. I'm not sure what they called it. But and then
I think they call it both now. Like it's like he's picked off as soon as he moves and the pitcher throws. Then it also goes down as a caught stealing. So they
okay,
for some reason they now use both
yeah.
designations. Yeah.
Well, maybe if they move towards the other base, it's caught stealing.
Yeah. Well, I mean they use both of them together then. So he was picked off and caught
Caught stealing.
stealing.
But you can be just picked off, right?
Yes.
Can be just caught stealing.
Yes.
But if there involves a pickoff maneuver, it's a pickoff. I guess that's more accurate.
Yes.
But it seems
Yeah.
like two things. It eliminates the judgment call, I guess. Um,
Yeah, I
but
always thought the caught stealing was like a catcher stat, not necessarily a pitcher stat, right?
yeah,
But apparently it's an anybody stat, I
but if
guess.
I guess if you're thrown out running toward the other base,
That's the
it's caught
attempted
stealing.
steal. Yeah.
If you're going back towards your original base, that's a pickoff.
I guess that's
But if
it.
you've done both of them, like if you get caught in a rundown, I guess it's both.
Yeah. Then you get both. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but then the Rockies return the favor in the 10th inning and had a toot bland of their own off third. So um, the Royals ended up winning thanks to some some decent hits. Was it 11 innings that they won? Uh,
Yes.
11
Yeah.
when Freddie Fermin hit a game-winning single. Uh, and so
And all of this was an odd scenario anyway, because Fermin came in as a pinch runner of all
yeah, for
scenarios.
Salvador Perez, because all the other Royals pinch runners had been used, and Daron Blanco's on the DL on the or I guess the was it the injured list, the IL
The
now.
IL, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what
And
happens.
Tyler Tolbert had already entered the game, so
Mhm.
their like traditional pinch runners were already occupied.
Yeah, we'll see.
But then he was the player that threw out the runner at third too, and then drove in the winning run in the 11th. So he had quite a game, coming
Mhm.
in the 10th, ninth inning, ninth inning. Yeah,
Yeah,
entering in the ninth, and
game of
then
the ninth inning. Yes.
yeah, scored the tying run, and then drove in the winning run, but in the middle, like saved the game with a defensive play. So yeah, I mean that's quite a game for only playing the last 2.5 innings of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see how the Royals are doing. They're currently under their pace as for over under winning eight was 82 and a half games. I picked over, you picked under. You're 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 looking good right now, but hopefully not looking good as the season goes on. We hope the Royals can turn around. Their pitching has been good, other than I guess the blip tonight of Esteves as the closer, uh, kind of walking the bases loaded and then giving up a big bases clearing double to uh, get the to surrender the lead and actually switch and put the Rockies in ahead. But yeah, so but otherwise the Royals pitching has been pretty good, but they just haven't scored very many runs at all. I think they scored six going into tonight. They had scored, I think, 67 runs. So now they're up to 71 runs scored. Uh, which is
It's just shy of three.
the lowest, tied for the lowest in baseball with the Rockies, who they just beat 4-3. And
Yes.
they actually had to score one more run tonight to tie the Rockies for the lowest. So they only are tied now with the Rockies because they beat the Rockies tonight. The White Sox even have scored 72 runs. Um, and the Royals' run differential is minus 23, which is one, two, three, fourth, fifth worst in baseball. So not so great. Um,
And that's even with the pitching staff being pretty good.
yeah, they've only allowed 94 runs, which is better than it's like sixth in the American League. So um, not bad.
Like I mean, 4 runs a game isn't terrible, especially if
Mhm.
you're scoring 5 runs a game. But the Royals aren't scoring even 4 runs a game on average, so
No,
that's not good. That's not good.
no, 24. They are scoring fewer than 3 run. They played 24 games. They have
Yeah, so they're like
71
one
runs, so
under
it's
3 runs a
under three
game.
runs. Yeah, 2.9 something runs a
Right.
game. You aren't going to win that. That and that's and if your pitching staff had a 2.9 ERA, that would be really really good. And that includes because you would have usually have some unearned runs that you'd allow as well. But so even with the 2.9, the Royals the opposing pitchers have at worst a 2.9 ERA against the Royals, which isn't seems
Well, and today it took them 11 innings to get the 4 runs, so
yeah,
it wouldn't. It's not even that impressive.
no. No, not terribly. Um, Hope, yeah. Any? So yeah, you think the Royals are more likely to rebound and c come close to contending, or you think they're more likely to kind of collapse back and lose, uh, 90 plus games this year?
I'm really afraid of that second scenario. I'm going to choose to be hopeful, and uh, there's it seems to be very unlikely that all of those Royals players in the lineup are likely to continue to hit sub 200 for the season. The temperatures are now starting to warm up, so maybe their bats will warm up as well. Sal's not been hitting for average at all, but he got a bloop hit today. Maybe that'll spark a little run for him, and
Mm.
some of these other players are have to be due for some hits just to like reversion to the mean, right? But
Yeah.
we did get some good news, I think, from the minor league system today too. Though we did see that Jac Caglianone at Double A ended up getting a hit off of a future Hall of Famer doing a rehab start. Mike, are you excited about that? Lefty lefty matchup, Caglianone
Yes.
and Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, I think that bodes well, I think. I guess you wonder how healthy Kershaw is and how but it's a rehab start, so he's must be decently healthy. So he's just trying to get back into the flow of a game, but being able to get a hit off of somebody like that in a double when he's a left-handed pitcher and a left-handed hitter, I think that shows some promise. Uh, yeah, I think Caglione is what are his stats now?
So he did go on a bit of a slump. I think he was like over 17 in one stretch, but I think he's warming back up again. And he hit an extra inning grand slam just the other day, so that's another, you know, more recent development after that slump. So
Yeah, it looks like they have him right now. He's only batting 258, 258 with a 329 on base percentage, 484 slugging, um, runs created plus 112, so above average. Four home runs, 20 RBIs, and uh, only 15 games he has 20 RBIs, so
yeah, he's really racked up the RBIs.
that's pretty good. So, um,
Yeah, so that put you on pace for close to 200 RBIs in the season if you played a full major league season, right?
yes,
Which I
yes.
think any baseball fan would want that guy on their team,
I believe that would shatter the Hack Wilson record. I think 191 RBIs in a season. Is that
Yes.
is that right?
191, I believe is correct. Yeah. 'Cause then they used to say it was 190, and then
They gave him an extra one, I
they
think.
added one from like records that were found like in newspapers and stuff like
Box
that.
score. Yeah, they
Yeah, I
191.
believe you. I believe you're
1950.
correct. 191.
Yes. Uh,
Hack Wilson.
56 home runs, 191 RBIs. Uh,
I heard this stat the other day, Mike, and I'm still like very surprised by it. Uh, but impressive longevity and dominance of one pitcher, Nolan Ryan. He had the most no hitters thrown in a career with
seven, I believe.
7. Yes, the next highest career no hitters is Koufax
Four, right?
4. Yeah, so he almost doubled Koufax. Although Koufax had a
Very short career.
shortened career, yes, from elbow arm issues. But what pitcher has thrown the most one hitters?
I believe that's also Nolan Ryan. I think
And
I
now, what pitcher has thrown the most two hitters?
Well, I'm gonna go also Nolan Ryan. Why would you be asking that question? Uh,
Exactly at this point, right? But then it does go further though. He also has the most three hitters thrown
really?
too. So does that seem like absolutely crazy though, right?
Yeah, that's interesting because you would think maybe like it'd be like Cy Young or somebody like that who's thrown so many games, um, or for so long.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because he had like 600 starts in his career. So yeah, he had 512 wins.
yeah. So
So
yeah, I would say yeah. So of the players,
crazy.
well, I'm looking at the baseball career innings pitched leaders.
Hmm.
Cy Young is the number one with 7,356. Pud Galvin is 6,003, Hall of Famer. Walter Johnson is third with 5,914. And then we get to the more modern era, like um Phil Niekro, knuckleballer, then Nolan
Yeah,
Ryan, 5,386, Gaylord Perry, knuckleballer, then Don Sutton, Warren Spahn, a little bit older, but still more modern, Steve Carlton. Then you get down to like Cleveland Alexander and Kid Nichols, like old timey again. But Maddox is also over 5,000. Uh, so yeah, basically, um, Nolan Ryan, he's thrown so many innings,
right.
uh,
He had a good chance to be in that
chance,
class, but yeah,
but not that many more innings than somebody like Greg Maddux or somebody
right.
who you think, oh, that guy might have had
Yeah,
a lot of two hitters or something like that. So
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting.
So he
But
must have just thrown so many games that he was
but
like, in the vicinity.
you would need a lot of complete games as well to have the
Right.
stats. Well, let's see.
Now on that list though, Mike, for innings pitch was old Hoss Radburn on there for like
Old
just from 1 year though, right? Like when
Old
he
House
threw like
Record. He won like what did he won? 86. Uh, okay, so if we look at complete games, uh, Cy Young pitched 749 complete games.
yeah,
Famously, his record is 511 wins, 313 losses. Um, so where does Warren Spahn has 382 complete games? I'm looking where Nolan Ryan's complete game number of complete games. Uh, Nolan Ryan's not even on the list of the top 100 complete games leaders.
he had 222 complete games in his
22.
27-year career.
Okay. But not as many as like Tom Seaver or Phil Niekro, uh, Steve Carlton, players that were in his era, um, had more complete games. But it's stunning though, I guess that Nolan Ryan had that many, not as many complete games, but still more one hitters, two hitters, and three hitters. Because
Yeah,
no hitters are kind of random, we could say. But if you
right.
all of those two, so it seems like if Ryan was but Ryan's ERA wasn't that great. He was either it seems like he's was either really really on or just kind of average.
Yeah,
Um, because he never won the Cy Young Award. Um, he was never. I don't know if he was ever the. I'm looking. Was he a wins leader?
no, he was a losses leader 1 year. He went
Okay.
17 and 18 in 1976.
Yeah, he is a strikeout leader usually. It seems like.
That year he went 17 and 18. He had seven shutouts.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
The most innings he threw in one season was he led the league in innings thrown just once in 1974 with the then
With
California Angels. 332 and two-thirds innings.
that's a lot of
Not
innings.
not anywhere close to old Hoss Radburn
What was his record?
for innings pitched in one season. 1884, old Hoss Radburn had 678 and two-thirds innings pitched in his 75 games pitched that season. of which 73 starts, also had 73 complete games, Mike.
Yes. What team did Old Hoss Radburn play for when he
It's like Providence, I think, wasn't it?
as the Providence Grays? He played
Great.
pitched Old Hoss. What happened to the Providence Grays?
I don't know.
Did they just fold or did they turn into some other team?
I'm not sure.
They played in the
Providence
National League from
Grays.
1878 to 1885. They won two National League titles. It also says they won the World Series in 1884. I guess that was the uh, pre-World Series. It was the first interleague championship contest was the 1884 World Series. Interesting. Uh, and it featured a matchup of Old Hoss Radburn against Tim Keefe. Uh,
The New York
that was the year
Metropolitans.
that Radburn won his season record 59 games, but some sources say 60 games that year.
Yes.
Um,
He also started all three World Series games and won all three World Series games.
wow.
Not bad. Not a bad year, Mike. To go 60 and 12 in the regular season
Yeah,
and then sweep the World Series.
yeah. But
Not
that's the
too
to
bad.
reading on Wikipedia, the total attendance for the three games was 3,800. So not too many people attended these World Series games in
No.
late October at they were all at the Polo Grounds. So they were all against the New York Metropolitans, who I guess became, well, no, they stopped playing in 1887, so they were not
That is not the modern day New York Mets.
mhm, no. And I was thinking maybe they became the Yankees or something like that, but they played at the Polo Grounds.
Well, you think Metropolitans would be the Mets, though, right? I mean,
Oh,
that's not
it
what.
was yeah. It was the name of different stadiums. The original Polo Grounds opened in 1876, demolished in 1889, was built for the sport of polo, of course. Uh,
No.
the third Polo Grounds,
Oh yeah, the Mets were really new.
yeah, the Metropolitans converted it to a baseball stadium. Uh,
Okay.
the third Polo Grounds, built in 1890, was known for its distinctive bathtub shape. Uh, very short distances between left and right field walls, and unusually deep center field. Um, yes. Um, well, anyway, we're now that we're talking.
Did you have a favorite old Hoss Radburn fact though? Was it just the 680 innings pitched in one season, or the 60 wins, or was it something else unrelated to that?
Well, partly old Hoss Radford was he never got old. He died pretty young. I think he died at age 42, so he did not last that long after baseball. I don't know. He opened a billiard parlor and saloon in Bloomington, Illinois after retiring from baseball. Uh, he was seriously injured in a hunting accident soon after retirement where he lost an eye. And then he died in 1897 at age 42. It doesn't say why he died. Uh, he may have been the namesake of the Charlie horse. Did you know that?
One more fact that is the one maybe the most impressive.
The middle finger fact? Is that your favorite?
Yes.
He's the first person photographed gesturing the middle finger.
I
Yeah.
thought that might be the best old Hoss Radburn fact.
That's one of the best ones. Uh, but yeah, it's interesting. He um
Because you remember the one of the bars in the Plaza area in Kansas City. was named after the person who was first videoed sneezing.
Oh, that's the Fred P. That's Fred Piot, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. I
Is Fred Piot still there?
don't know. It's not there anymore, I think. Yeah. I
That was one of our
think it did finally
hangouts.
close. Yes.
There is still one in Overland
Oh, I didn't know that.
or College Boulevard, Fred
Oh,
Piot.
where on College Boulevard?
6700 College Boulevard. Um,
I don't know what that means.
it is, let
It
me,
doesn't help.
yeah.
The numbering systems in the on the Kansas side don't make sense to me.
Well, it's just 67, it's 6700, it's 67 blocks west of uh Main
That
Street,
isn't.
City
That
Business.
isn't. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It isn't that way
It's
though.
It's near Metcalf and College.
Okay,
It's
so
just
it's
It's
that'd be
just
an okay
permanent.
part.
Actually, it says permanently closed on
It
Google
is,
Maps.
yeah, closed. Yeah.
That's too bad. Maybe closed during COVID. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if we ever ate at that Fred Piot's. I
No,
want
I've
to say
seen the one on the plaza.
I want to say maybe we.
Actually, in Google Maps, that's the other one that comes up is the one on the plaza. It's closed.
Okay. Well, that's a end
Ending
of
on a sad note, Mike.
end of an era. Yeah. Well, we mourn Fred Piot's. We'll let you guys mourn this end of the Warning Track Power Hour, dear viewers, dear listeners. We'll be back next week, of course, with more exciting news and revelations related to sports and whatever we come up with around the world of entertainment and maybe the world of measurement, as we've also delved into before. Uh,
Weights and measures.
Weights and measures. Here we were just talking about old-timey baseball, which at least was still sports related. But we might talk more about TV next week. We'll see what we're watching. I haven't been watching Keeping Up with Winning Time or with Running
Running
Point.
points.
Um, I just
Uh,
haven't had time.
I did finally start Severance,
Oh, did you? The second season
but
or
I'm
first
only
season?
in second season. Yeah, I just started the new season that came
Yeah.
out like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen the first episode of the new
Oh, okay.
season. So
Okay. So I
yes.
won't spoil anything for you, but
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
first part of the season is better than the second part of the season because
Ah,
this cool stuff happens early because it kind of wraps up what happened in the first season, and then they kind of
yeah.
open up stuff for the second season, but they don't resolve it. Uh,
Uh, it
it
was
ends
more
on
like a transition season into something bigger.
a cliffhanger, and it's not. I don't think it was as good as the first season,
Uh,
but it's still very good. Uh,
yeah.
but we'll see. I wish there had been more Patricia Arquette in it because I think I like her character. Uh,
Ah,
and she's not in. You probably know she wasn't in the first episode. I don't
she
think.
was not. I was like, she's in this series.
They had the little Asian girl.
Yes.
Why are you a child?
Why
And
are you a child?
was that in the first step? Was that the first episode? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Her response is funny too, because it
yeah,
was something about like it has something to do with when I was born.
yeah.
I think it's because of when I was born.
Yeah. So we have
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah. So
That
we
was
have.
funny.
You can discuss Severance as you go through it. And we can talk about it if I remember what episodes things are.
Sure.
But yeah, there's
But you've
also
seen it all. You're caught up.
I've seen it all. Yeah,
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
And so you have that to look forward to, dear listeners, dear viewers. And as always, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Warning Track Power Hour. Please like and or follow our YouTube channel and or subscribe. Like or subscribe, I guess, to our YouTube channel. Is that what I usually say? Uh, and our podcast as well, which is available on many different podcast delivery platforms. Uh, Anyone that you can think of, or at least within reason, we are on, and we hope that you all have a pleasant weekend of sports watching, and we hope that your bets turn out to be winners, and that you do very, very well as long as your interests do not conflict with ours. And we don't really have any bets going on this week. We have a draft order that we are predicting. We aren't really making bets though on the individual picks, even though you guys might be rushing out to that minus 20,000 uh, Cam Ward pick to win $100 with only $20,000 on the line. So
Or that dull
the shiny
weather-worn nickel
yeah, the
for your
once
$10 bet.
shiny nickel that you can win with a mere uh uh $10. So one Hamilton for
Plunk down one Hamilton and get one Jefferson back. Not the
yes.
$2 bill, the nickel.
The nickel, yes. The little Jefferson. Yeah, so that's what you had to look forward to next week, and we'll be back as usual. And until next time, we wish you a good day.